Good evening, everyone. Can I please have a motion and a second to reconvene the public meeting?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for our servicemen and women? Thank you. Will the district clerk please call the roll?
Marisol Mallon, President.
Here.
Jacqueline DiLorenzo, Trustee.
Present.
Sab Parisi, Trustee. Melissa Torregrossa, Trustee.
Present.
Michael Ibrahim, Student Board Member.
Here.
Dr. Joseph Senimore, Superintendent.
Present.
Reza Kolahifer, Assistant Sup for Admin and Personnel.
Yes, ma'am.
Robert Hauser, Assistant Superintendent for Business and Operations.
Present.
Christina Poppy, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction.
Present.
John Allen, Assistant to the Superintendent. Lori O'Hara, Executive Director of Professional Development and Special Education.
Present.
Anthony Fasano, District Attorney.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the September 16, 2025 meeting?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So why we're here? To honor all these amazing students. So I'm going to pass the floor to Ms. Christina Poppy, who will take over. And Dr. Senimore.
Thank you. Thank you. So welcome, good evening, everybody, our magnificent students, families, and our staff. This evening, we continue the tradition of honoring those students, all of you, who in the spring earned a perfect score on your advanced placement, New York State Regents, and/or World Language Examination. Tonight, we recognize 130 students, that's right, 130 students, with over 1/3 having earned multiple perfect scores. Yes, please, give yourselves a round of applause. This is truly a remarkable achievement. It's a source of pride for all of you, your families, and certainly our instructional staff, our support staff, our administrative staff, and the entire Connecticut community. Some of the students being recognized tonight are now freshmen to college, representing Connecticut with distinction. However, we are going to read all of the names and just know, in addition to how proud we are of all of you, how humbled we are by your accomplishment. This is truly remarkable. These exams are not easy. None of them are easy. And to earn a perfect score, and as I said, many of you, multiple perfect scores, is just absolutely incredible. So at this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Poppy if, she has her speaking voice, so she can join me up at the podium. And I know we have some of our principals and department directors. You are invited up on stage as well, and any members of the board who'd like to join us as well. We're going to call students up. We're going to start with the alphabet and work through the letter M. And then we'll pause and we'll take a shot, a photo, group photo of those students. Then we're going to continue with the alphabet through Z, take a group photo, and then we're going to have everybody come together, fill up the stage, and take a nice group shot as well. So again, Ms. Poppy, our principals and directors who are here, you can join us up by the music stand, which will serve as a podium, and any members of the board who'd like to join us as well. students, when your name is called, we're gonna have you come up to my left. You'll shake hands with about 90 people. And then you'll take to the right, watching your steps, and watching that yellow line over there that has the wire underneath.
Okay. So in recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLACS A exam, Michaela Almaraz. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLACS B exam, Patrick Alvarado. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLACS A exam, Ashley Basso. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLACS A exam and Algebra 1 Regents, Randy Borja Shimbe. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition exam, Vance Bradley. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam, Alexa Razte. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Biology exam, Cole Bravado. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLACS B exam, Shayna Breslier. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP US History exam and US History and Government Regents, William Brophy. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Psychology exam, Luke Buckley. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam, Sophia Calfa-Pietra. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Computer Science Principles exam, Kyle Callahan. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition exam, Leila Camacho. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLACS A exam, Shayna Franco. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Biology exam, Ella Cardone. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam, William Carey. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Algebra 1 Regents, Jaden Chen. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Global History and Geography Regents, Liam Connolly. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam and Global History and Geography Regents, Zoe Cuevas. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP US History exam, Christian DeRosa. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Biology exam, Sabrina DeCapua. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Chemistry, AP Language and Composition, and AP US History exam, Samantha DeLuca. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition exam, Ria Desai. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition, AP Macroeconomics, AP Physics 1, and AP US History exams, Declan Duran. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX A and Algebra 1 Regents exams, Daniel Ellers. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX A exam, Ashley Escalante Ramos. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Chemistry, AP Language and Composition, AP Macroeconomics, AP Microeconomics, and AP US History exam, Michael Fabry. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX A exam, Barisha Farhana. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam and Global History and Geography Regents, Gianna Ferry. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Biology exam, Connor Gallup. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the US History and Government Regents, Tyler Gallup. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition exam, Sophia Germano. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Physics exam, Kevin Gearloff. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Physics 1 exam and US History and Government Regents, Christian Goncalves. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP European History and AP Modern World History exams and Global History and Geography and Physical Setting Chemistry Regents, Kimberly Greenwood. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Psychology exam, Constance Greenwood. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP US History exam, Ava Guiney. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Algebra 1 Regents exam, Serena Hawk. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition and AP US History exam and US History and Government Regents exam, Robert Hennigan. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition and AP US History exams, Corinne Hillick. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition, AP Chemistry, AP Psychology, and AP US History exams, Madison Holzmacher. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Algebra 1 Regents exam, Brianna Homanyun. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World exam and Global Regents, Aisha Hussein. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition exam, Michael Ibrahim. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Algebra 2 and Global History and Geography Regents and the AP Modern World History exam, Sophie Jamrazek. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP European History and AP Modern World History exams and Global History and Geography regions, Nathaniel Johnson. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Global History and Geography regions, Michael Kelly. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam, Jake Lemura. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP US History exam, Hans Lang. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP World History and FLAX-B exams, Flynn Lavery. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Physics 1 exam, Jonathan Lee. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition, AP US History, and US History and Government Regents exams, Julia Ligorzewski. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam, Christopher Lindsay. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Biology exam and Geometry regions, Lily Longo. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam and Global History and Geography regions, Stephanie Laughlin. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition exam, Jawad Mahir. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition and AP US History exams, Catherine Maraviglia. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP US History exam, Anthony Morseri. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP US History exam, Jaden McKay. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX-A exam, Malaya McInnes. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX-A exam, Catherine Methvin. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition exam, Sabir Maya. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Physical Setting Chemistry regions, Ashaz Moen. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX-A exam, Caleb Muniz. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX-B exam, Anna Sophia Murphy. And we're going to pause here for a picture.
In case we missed a certificate, we'll absolutely get one mailed out. Also realize we have families watching at home. That's another reason why we're saying all the names, because some people are watching on the live stream.
So we would like to recognize Jake Kiernan and Abraham Afghani for their perfect scores, and we will have certificates available for both of those students and their families. Continuing, in recognition of receiving a perfect score on AP Modern World History, Charlotte Jurif.
No, we're going to stand right up there. You still get the photo op.
In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam, Patrick O'Hagan. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX A exam, Sophia Orlando. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Algebra 1 Regents, Jeffrey Paglino. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Biology exam, Erin Palmieri. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam and Global History and Geography Regents, Nicholas Paravalos. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX A exam, Fernanda Paredes Guevara. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam, Ariana Parisi. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX A exam, Ashton Petrie. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX A exam, Mia Policano. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP US History exam, Haley Premer. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Global History and Geography Regents, Lauren Quinn. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Algebra 1 Regents and FLAX A exam, Alishba Qureshi. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the U.S. History and Government Regents, Michael Raber. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam, Hira Raja. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Psychology and AP US History exams, Chase Riley. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam, Leah Rakowski. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition exam, Liam Richmond. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP US History exam, Edward Romano. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Geometry Regents, Alessandro Romero Lazarte. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Algebra 1 Regents and Flax A exam, Ethan Rong. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Algebra 1 Regents, Charlotte Savage. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Computer Science Principles exam, Caden Shackles. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Biology exam and Geometry Regents, Risha Shetty. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam and Global History and Geography Regents, Sharav Shuvo. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Flax A exam, Prabri Sidhu. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Flax A exam, Madison Simmons. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Algebra 1 Regents, Michaela Simmons. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Language and Composition and AP US History exams, Chloe Smith. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Music Theory exam, Elizabeth Smith. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Biology exam, Shin Hui Sun. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Geometry Regents, Jacob Torres. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Flax A exam, Kaylee Uceda Chavez. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam, Xavier Vargas. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam, Dylan Vecchiarello. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the Global History and Geography Regents, Joseph Villani. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX A exam, Adriana Wag. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Biology exam, Liam Wheating. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the FLAX A exam, Anthony Wojas. I'm at the edge, Dr. C. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP Modern World History exam, Dylan Woolner Balfour. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP European History and AP Modern World History exams, Nafis Zaman. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP European History exam, Ilyas Zarini. In recognition of receiving a perfect score on the AP European History and AP Modern World History exams, Braden Zuccaro. And if there's anyone who hasn't had their name called, please approach the mic while we kind of situate for our second photo op. names. Many of them are graduates, and then we have some individuals who may have missed their first call, so I just want to be sure everybody's covered here. We have Erica Yu, who scored a perfect score in AP Literature. We have Samir Umar, who scored a perfect score in AP Literature, AP Calculus BC, and AP Government. We have Joseph Kosi, who has a perfect score in AP Government and Politics. We also have G. De Niro, Alex DeVita, Sophia Policano, and Connor Scott, who are 2025 graduates who had multiple perfect scores. We will be sending those certificates in the mail tomorrow. And Ashley Escalante Ramos. Ashley had a perfect score on Flax A, and I think she just missed that first group of a picture taking. So if we can just take a picture with the N through Z group and then have everybody back on stage for a group picture, that would be wonderful.
Declan Reichler. Even the first group, come back up.
Yep, you guys can even stand in between. We're going to make a couple of us while they bring Yeah, you can move forward a little. You don't have to be all the way back. Everybody take a step forward. Everybody take a step forward. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Okay, and if you're behind somebody, try to go in between so I can see your face. Madison. If you can't see my face, I can't see you. Okay? Yep, you can go over on the end more. That's Madison. There we go. Yep, you can even go more on the side. I have more room down here. Yep, you can sit. All right.
Oh, there's my call.
All right, I got it. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
just kidding. Go home and study. Congratulations to everybody. So a huge congratulations again to all the students, recipients. What an achievement to get 100 perfect score on all those exams. Can I please have a motion and a second to table item number 31 from the instructional personnel?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I please have a motion and a second to suspend the business meeting and convene the audit committee meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Battaglia will do our presentation. Floor is yours.
Good evening. I was going to go over the report for the facilities maintenance first. So this was our in-depth cycle report that numerous areas within the facilities and maintenance. We looked at the preventative maintenance. And most of these findings really have to do because you're transitioning into a new software. So you're going from School Dude to master library work orders. So I think a lot of these issues are going to be rectified once you completely transition into the new system. I do want to point out just a couple of items, though, that didn't have to do with the software. And some of them, it just really is your policy has to just match your procedures. So it's either update the policy to reflect the common practices that's provided or change the procedure. So we did note that the policy you do have is to develop a 5-year capital asset preservation plan. And the district's required by the policy to update the plan annually. So if you're going to do it every 5 years, then you could just change the policy to state every 5 years. Similarly, there was another one. We just noted your capital asset accounting policy. The policy states 2,000 or more, but within your financial statements, it's 5,000 or more. So again, just making sure that everything aligns basically what your practice is versus what your policy is. Same thing with your capital asset accounting policy. It says annual physical inspection, and then it states that in your regulation to periodic inventories. So just making sure that you're following that. And the same thing with the maintenance and control materials equipment policy. So I didn't want to go into every detail because, like I said, most of the findings will be implemented once you go into the new work system order. But if there's specific questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Does anybody have any questions? on the facilities maintenance?
The next is we do an annual risk assessment update. So we look at new areas. We don't go into too much depth like we do for our cycle report, but we do look at a couple of areas, and then we also have the status of the prior year findings we look at to make sure if they were implemented as well. This year we looked at your state aid grants. Again, it was just policy. It's legally required that the board reviews it on an annual basis, so just add that to your list to at the reorg meeting to put it on that you review that policy. There were some issues with the single audit report for 2024 from your external auditors, so we looked into those. We found the same stemming issues, so hopefully for June 30, 25 that you can rectify those situations once your external auditors prepares your single audit report. We looked at cash and investment management. We just noted that your third-party collateral should be part of your bank reconciliation process, so you could just add it to the treasurer's report to add that you are fully collateralized each month. And then the district's investment policy, that's a policy that's required annually to be reviewed. So like I said, you could just put it on the reorg meeting and just state that you reviewed that policy so that you could rectify that comment. The next is just we saw, as of the November 2024 bank statements, we noticed that there was some old outstanding checks. We have been notified that the district did clear it up for their external audit as of June 30th, 2025. We also looked at capital projects this year's, and again, there was just for the form SA 139, request for approval for financing. This has been delayed, so hopefully this is now getting in the process of that you could file those reports. We also looked at the capital assets. There was a couple of items that we noted that were not capitalized for the June 30th, 2024. So hopefully they will be added to the June 30th, 2025 financial statements. We also looked at your transportation, and I'm happy to report that we have no recommendations at this time for the transportation. And we also have the status of prior year recommendations. Some have been implemented and some are in process, or some have are in process, like I said. And for this year, we are recommending that we look at your capital assets. We have not looked at capital assets here, so we wanted to do an in-depth cycle on that. But we would happy to hear from the audit committee if they had a specific area that they wanted us to hone in for this year. You don't have to make a decision today, but just think about if that's an area or if there's another area of concern that you want a in-depth cycle from us. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no questions really, viewer, just that when I went through all of this, I noticed, some things that seem to be just like a lack of oversight or not using something that we have at our fingertips, like there was that school dude thing that was on there, things that we should be using to their full potential. And also I saw somewhere on here, and I'm sorry, I don't have my notes that I wrote everything down, but I'm trying to remember where there were things that were recommended last year and then last time they weren't done. So I'm just saying, I would like to see that we are, that we're doing that. If they're recommending something, I want to ensure that for going forward, we do what is recommended, to make sure that we are documenting. A lot of things seem to be lacking documentation. So I don't know if that's an issue that we don't have the staff to do it, or I'm not sure where the issue is, but I'd like to see work on that to make sure that we are documenting properly, we are doing oversight, we're doing all that. That's all.
Thank you so much. Anybody else have a question? No. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good evening. I do want to thank Bob and his business office and Valerie for helping us complete this audit. Thank you.
Can I please have a motion and a second to suspend the audit committee meeting and reconvene the business meeting?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Do we have Orba here by any chance? SEPTA? PTA Council? Okay. I will now open the floor for the first open public comment portion of the agenda. I will call individuals forward one at a time. Please wait for my acknowledgement before stepping up to the podium. You should have received a number card from security on your way in. If you have not, please see a security guard in the back of the room. Any person wishing to address the board shall address the board president. Comments should be kept as brief as possible and relate to school matters only. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for one or more topics. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. The use of foul language and threatening comments will not be tolerated, and the board will consider a recess until order is restored. In accordance with Policy 1230, public comment will not exceed 30 minutes. If there are additional persons wishing to speak, the board may consider a motion to extend the time. Number 1.
Good evening.
I'm just going to ask that you press the button. There is no button?
I'm
Never
good.
mind.
Okay. Okay, first of all, I've had the opportunity to meet with all 5 board members over the summer. Everybody was given a green book. And I've also had the opportunity to do a presentation on both the Advanced Star and the Low Income Star at the Bohemia Civic meeting. I've put a copy, I snuck in early and I put a copy on by everybody's nameplate. There's one there up there for April. And it just shows you what I presented on the low income portion of it. I wanted to run through, not the whole presentation, but to mention, I put a pink slip on there on the slide that pertains to the school board. We've missed 4 years of increasing this level to an acceptable level, matching the state, our neighboring school districts, the town, and the county. It's time, and hopefully this year we can get it done. The information, I've reached out to Bob Hauser and the rest of you folks by email, is due soon from Ann. He's reached out to Ann, and we're expecting to get that in soon. I hope at that point we can start looking to get this done. I've been asked to do this at the library, and there's some other senior groups. My goal now, this started out with a couple of my neighbors that were hurting and deserved this tax break. And now for me, it's changed a little bit. I want to get this word out to as many people as possible that qualify for this program. And I need everybody's help. We're fortunate in this district. It's a very low percentage of people that qualify for this, so that's good. We don't have a lot of low-income seniors, but for those people that do need it, it's really, really important. There's at least 226 households in this district that could qualify for this in the past. This level hasn't been increased in over 30 years. It's just mind-boggling. Again, our neighboring school districts, Hauppauge, Sayville, all are up at the higher level. I don't want to do this presentation again until it's resolved with the school board. I want to take that slide out and put in, Connecticut School District has unanimously adopted the higher level. And I really want to get this out and try to help as many people as possible. And I'm hoping, you people can help me. I hope you give it some serious consideration. And I'd like to get this resolved, hopefully by the end of the year, and see if we can move forward. So I appreciate everybody's time again. Everybody was absolutely terrific. I met you guys not at a school board. I was able to meet you separately. I put holes in there. You can put that in the back of the slide. I would ask if you could just review it a little bit. It'll give you a reminder of where we are with the program. It gives you where the county is. It gives you where the town is. And like I said, this is a small percentage of our community. These people need our help, and we need to do the right thing. And the right thing is this year. We shouldn't go any further. We've missed 4 years. Let's catch this in year 5. I appreciate, again, everybody's time.
Thank you so much. We're actually going to have a discussion about that later during board discussions. Ms. DiLorenzo has it added for one of our discussion items. But thank you for bringing it up. It's an important topic to discuss. Thank you. Number 2.
Good evening. I don't think I need this, but I'll use it anyway. My name is James Edmonds. I am a 60-year resident of this district. I am a graduate of this school system, 1974. I have 3 children who went through the entire district, K through 12. All 3 graduated in years 97, 99, and 02. All of them were involved in the music program throughout their time in the district. Okay? I don't come to these meetings because my kids are out of school, and I do what I have to take care of everything. My oldest graduated in 1997, my son graduated in 1999, my youngest daughter graduated in 02. In 2020, after the death of my son, who passed away from complications from back surgery, I started a scholarship that started out at $250 for 2 years, and the last 2 years has gone to $1,000. I take genuine issue with, and I would like to know what, if anything, is being done about the fact that you have a music teacher in this school, this building, whose last name is Saladino.
I'm sorry. We are not stating any teachers' names. We cannot state any personnel's by name or
Fine.
building.
You have a music teacher in this building
No,
who
or
puts
building,
a post
or
on social
Sir,
media.
we cannot identify a teacher by building or name, please.
You have an employee
Thank you.
who put something on social media that I personally find very disturbing, and I would like to know what the board's position is on this posting on social media.
So first, let me say I'm very sorry about the passing of your child, and thank you for starting the scholarship in his name. Unfortunately, I cannot discuss personnel matters.
Oh, I know that's the standard line that you guys all give, because I know about school board meetings back from when I was going to school here, okay? But I will say this, and I will leave you with this. Something better happen to this individual, or I am going to seriously reconsider participating in your scholarship program in the future, okay? It's a scholarship for kids from the music department. It is specific for the music department. And I can guarantee you that if my son were alive today, who it's named after, he would have severe problems with this educator's personal beliefs being posted on social media the way they were. For those that are not familiar, let me make you so. He posted a picture of himself with the following on it. If you think we're cold-hearted assholes now,
Sir,
wait until Trump dies.
Sir.
I'm repeating what the man said.
I understand, but we're going to try not to use vulgarities, please.
I'm using words that the man said.
I understand that you're quoting.
I'm not making this up myself. If you have an issue with the language, talk to him.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Number 3. You wanted me to stop him. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5.
Trust me, it's terrible. Has Connecticut ever had a DASA investigation done correctly and actually investigated right? Do you know the difference between an unsubstantiated and unfounded investigation? Any of you? Other than Mr. Fasano? Unfounded, having no foundation or basis in fact. That means that children didn't tell any of the truth. Unsubstantiated, not supported or proven by evidence, which would be more of what if you find things that aren't truthful or truthful. Disgusting that I received a letter about an unfounded, once again. You find nothing founded. You do nothing for children. It's a disgrace. Are you saying students' claims are unfounded without truly investigating? Rather than unsubstantiated, the two are different, and a lawsuit will be filed, paid for by this district, for voting to approve an investigation that has lies by many in it, especially admin, which can be easily proven with just a little bit of time. Especially since said attorney the district hired tried to talk myself out of filing one, totally unethical and unprofessional, and Marisol, you're well aware of that. That is an email and easily proven. I have requested an unredacted copy of said DASA report, and I expect to get one. Otherwise, if you refuse to release it, this Board of Ed is more corrupt than I ever realized, because if you're prepared to state that a report is truthful and factual, you should have no issues releasing a copy to parents or complainants. What do you have to hide? Seriously, Gercio's legal team already told you for years about former Board of Ed members releasing documents and information. You are aware that there is very little that can be done after people are off the board. So save all the reports because you can release them. You must be reminded that you represent the community, parents and taxpayers, not the CTA president. Therefore, why did the board take a knee and apologize to CTA president after doing a moment of silence for someone that the CTA president does not like? When will you all stop cowering and taking a knee just because you want to get an endorsement for re-election? You should be ashamed of yourselves for not standing against this hateful email and standing united against hate and assassinations on a school, college campus over words. No matter what your religion, political, or educational beliefs are, no one should celebrate an assassination on a college campus. Disgusting. This Board of Ed has done many over the years moments of silence. It was never an issue. Now it's an issue. How dare you take an email that has my name in it as a community member and parent in this district and approve it? And apologize. You should be embarrassed. You're supposed to represent us, not him. Lastly, admin and teachers called for letting me know how annoyed they are about the Board of Ed's clear corrupt agenda behind closed doors. Consent agenda tonight from 323, where a man who shall not be named used days, and this board is giving those used days back, in is complete disgrace, biased acts of cronyism. And friends on the Board of Ed, April trying to campaign, have any of you actually done your due diligence and read the email sent by admin and him to the Board of Ed? Another left from elementary school in 323. Are you reinstating everyone's days consistently, or are you only reinstating your friends through backdoor deals?
Thank you.
By the way, I will be posting the emails from Linda Adams when I was on the board tonight. They will show without a doubt that you guys are doing things that is beyond corrupt.
Number 6.
Okay, real quick, Chris. That's it? Okay, my children went to Connecticut. My husband went to Connecticut. I did not. Right now, I'm kind of proud of that. But what I'd like to say is that I thought that this school district, for all children, was supposed to be about empathy, love, caring. We don't like bullying in school. We teach children against it. But then we have teachers that are in this district who do things like this that show no empathy, no sympathy, nothing whatsoever except hate, and that we accept. If it was one of the children in our schools, we would reprimand them. But it seems that when they become something other than a child, which is our charge, which we are supposed to raise to be responsible adults, that stops. And when the responsible adult becomes irresponsible, we ignore it. Shame on you.
Number 7. 8. Number 9. Nope, we're done. All right. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the first reading of policy 0100, equal opportunity and non-discrimination, policy 0110, sexual harassment, policy 0110.2, sexual harassment in the workplace, policy 0110.2-E, sexual harassment in the workplace exhibit, policy 0111, sexual harassment grievances under Title IX, Policy 0111-E, sexual harassment grievances under Title IX exhibit. Policy 0115, student harassment and bullying prevention and intervention.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions on those policies?
I have a question on them, about them as a group. Maybe I should know this or not, but why do they all say clean?
That's without redactions. Some of them have, track changes in them so that you can easily see them, so we just mark them clean. Those are the ones you have to adopt.
I understand. Yeah, because I see some here that we already adopted, so nothing really changed, or?
No, so some of these are going back to the 2020 Title IX regulations under the original Trump administration. We're just reverting back to them. So what had happened was, in Biden, in the end of his term in 2024, he amended Title IX. You amended your policies consistent with that. Then there was a court case that basically invalidated those regulations. We had put out amended policies to update that. Now NISBA, which is your policy service, came along and they said, okay, now we're adopting their policies or amending their policies to make it consistent with Trump's 2020 regulations. So all we did was we amended those policies further to make them consistent with your other policies.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the instructional personnel items as amended and the non-instructional personnel items as presented?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I call for a motion and a second to approve items 2 through 8 on the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions?
Yeah, I'd like to, if we can, just pull number 6 for a separate vote.
Okay, sure. Can I call for a motion and a second to approve items 2 through 5 and 7 and 8?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions on those? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve item number 6 on the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
I'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Parisi?
I'm going to abstain from this.
Okay. Ms. DiLorenzo?
Yeah, I feel like I need a little bit more information, and I'm a little concerned because in a recent FOIL that I received, I saw an email between, well, it wasn't really between, it was from one board member to 3 others. It wasn't on it, and the entire email was redacted. I'm not really sure I was left out, and I would have asked, but we're not all here tonight. So I have to abstain from this. I'm a little concerned about that I don't know what was said on there. So I'm going to abstain as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have 2 abstentions. So why don't we just table it to get more information?
Yeah.
Okay, so can I have a motion and a second to table item number 6?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, superintendent's update, Dr. Senimore.
Thank you. So our elementary faculty have begun to receive professional learning through iReady in order to facilitate data analysis at the school and classroom levels. iReady is used in our elementary and middle school levels as a diagnostic to measure student reading and mathematic growth. Recently, through the curriculum office, parents received reports on their students who took the 3 through 8 state assessments last year. We recently had 2 Connecticut High School students, Declan Duran and Michael Fabry. They received letters of commendation from the National Merit Scholarship Program, so congratulations to them. We have one of our seniors, Mohammed Omir Latif, from the high school, is the lead author on a research paper on epilepsy that was just published with Cornell University. The paper stemmed from his work at Brookhaven National Lab this past summer as part of his time spent in the high school research program. Congratulations to him as well. The high school is hosting college visits through the guidance department and doing on-site admission days Those are coming up shortly. Interested students should sign up for these events and guidance. Tonight, Sable is hosting, and they do it jointly with us, and they pick the date when it's their turn. They're hosting the college fair, so we have our Ms. Johnny Kohler is over there from guidance, and we have a lot of our students in that collaboration, and we thank Sable High School for hosting this year. Next year will be our turn again to host. We recently had over at the public library a fabulous community wellness day, but I'm going to let Ms. DiLorenzo speak to that further during board discussions. Next week in the state is School Board Recognition Week. I would like to thank all of the members of our Board of Education for their volunteerism and service on behalf of our students, staff, and community. Monday, weather permitting, our marching band is marching in Philadelphia at the parade to honor the 250th anniversary of the Navy and the Marines. Next Friday, October 17th, is homecoming, and we'll let our student ex officio board members speak more on that. Followed by the Safe Halloween on Saturday the 25th. I'll let him speak further on that as well. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. So, Mr. Ibrahim had to leave, but before he left, are you Mr. Ibrahim? Did he leave you with a message? Oh, because he left me with a message. So he actually wants to invite the board to homecoming. The only information he does have is that it's next Friday. The 17th, I don't have time, but so that's what I have from him. Board of Ed committee report. So we have the Emergency Management Committee. That's myself and Ms. Torregrosa. So, I mean, not much can be said because that meeting has a lot of sensitive information that's spoken about in there. But one thing I can say is to please remember for all the staff to keep the doors in a locked position, closed and locked position, and to make sure that ID badges are visible and identifiable for both students and staffs at all time, because we want to make sure we know who's in the building. When you do go to a building, as far as parents, and you go to the front desk, just if you could speak clearly into the speakers and identify yourself so that, you know, the person can let you into the lobby and they know who you are. And one other issue is Ubering and DoorDashing to the schools. It's becoming, it's a convenience, right? Like I've done it, but we don't know who's coming into our schools to drop off the food for our children or our staff. So if we can try a central location in each building to make sure that the food is dropped off there, the Uber driver would identify themselves also, or the fast food delivery person. So that's what I have for the safety committee or emergency management. And then disability awareness is actually also me. So we had, well, it's actually Ms. DiLorenzo, but she couldn't make it the last time. Unfortunately, I'm the alternate, which I wish I could not be the alternate, but I am. So there was a lot of great things that were spoken about at the disability committee meeting the last time. I do want to be there. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm the alternate, is what because I'm not. But anyway, I was there. So there's a lot of great things coming up. We're trying to merge unified bowling with the unified basketball and have like a starting point with the unified bowling and have a culmination with the disability fairs at the unified basketball game. Trying to do the slogan again and create a contest with the kids to create the t-shirts. A lot of great things coming down with the Disabilities Committee. I actually really, really like that committee. That's all I have.
Thank you for attending on my behalf that I couldn't make it.
So if you can't make more, let me know. I know, I was like, I really liked it. All right, so we have Board of Ed topics. We have CTA representation, which is Ms. DiLorenzo and Ms. Iannatelli. If I could just go first, because actually Ms. Iannatelli gave me something she would like for me to read. So these are April's words. So I am going to use the word I, but that's what she wrote. I understand there has been a lot of discussion on social media regarding the Connecticut Teachers Association and its representation It's important to clarify that Connecticut Central School District and the Board of Education are not affiliated with the CTA or any other union representing district employees. Each union associated with Connecticut independently selects its own representation and determines whether to provide stipends for those roles. Those decisions are made solely by the unions themselves. The school district does not fund, appoint, or influence union leadership or representation in any way. I hope this clears up any confusion that might have surrounded this topic. So that's from Ms. Iannatelli. So Ms. DiLorenzo.
Yeah, for me, there's a bit more to unpack here with that because of everything that has happened. And I just want to, I have many things to say. I'm going to try to be brief, though. I know, there were letters that were posted, 2 letters that came out. Within those, there was a request from the CTA president for transparency as far as us lowering the flags for Charlie Kirk and the moment of silence. I'm going to give him that transparency. The lowering of the flags was a proclamation from President Trump, and we follow state, federal, whenever they want us to lower the flags, we do that. We follow those proclamations. And as far as the moment of silence, for me, it was kind of done on the spot. Because it logically just followed through. We lowered the flags for Charlie Kirk. Next meeting, we were doing a moment of silence, impulsively, and we had Charlie Kirk. So that is what happened. Number one, first of all, I will never, ever apologize for that. However anybody wants to think, I'm not going to apologize for that because a lot of our students do, I believe, follow Charlie Kirk. They were affected by this. The whole nation was affected by this. I'm not going to apologize for that. It was done on a school. We are also a school, not a college, but what happened to him was done on a college campus. There is, again, no apology for that. As far as these letters that went out, first of all, the first letter it contradicted itself, saying he was a public speaker, a private citizen, whatever it is. But perhaps one of the worst things is that these letters spoke for hundreds of staff. And while he demands transparency from what about providing transparency for your own members? Speaking on their behalf was really, I don't even understand how anybody could do that and think it's okay. And judging by the reactions we got after those were publicized, they didn't know. And there's everything wrong with that. As far as the next letter that went out, hostile personal attacks on community members, actually written community members just because of their prior positions, not okay either. Or naming colleagues, and you want to represent all these people, I am sorry, none of that is okay. And I think it's really what we need to focus on is the fact that when we make decisions here, whatever we do them as a district. We do what's right by legally. If we are told to follow orders, we do not follow his personal political preferences. And I am going to go there, and I am going to say that it is time. Our teachers are not properly represented. There are some incredible staff members here. I've seen them with my 3 children, and other children in my family. This representation is not fair for them. It is not fair. Nobody should be speaking for these people without their consent. So, and again, I will never apologize for asking for the moment of silence for Charlie Kirk or for honoring him by lowering the flags.
So I actually have my own statement that I want regarding that moment of silence. So I would like to address the moment of silence at our last meeting. To be clear, I did not apologize for the moment of silence. What I said was, and I quote, "I have to agree and say that it is on me that I was caught so off guard. School should always be apolitical." End quote. My statement was not in reference to honoring or failing to honor anyone, rather an acknowledgement of being unprepared for a situation that understandably could carry political associations. I also never claimed or stated to have been set up, nor did I mention any trustee by name, ever. My words were misrepresented. I want to assure our community that my intent has always been and will remain to keep our schools a place of learning, respect, and unity. All right, we have open school nights. Also, Miss Ina Telly, which I have a statement to read from her. Again, she couldn't be here, but she left me notes. So she says, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all the staff who participated in open school night on September 18th. Your presence and engagement made the evening meaningful for our families. A special shout out goes to Mr. Majeski, one of our talented ceramics teachers, for going above and beyond. While many of us are familiar with the typical format of open school night, discussing class expectations, assignments, homework, and tests, Mr. Majeski brought something truly unique to the table. He made his session interactive and memorable by giving each attendee a piece of clay and guiding us through the process of making a pinch pot. He even demonstrated how to add flair by scoring the clay and then collected all the creations to be fired in the kiln. Once they're ready, our children will have the opportunity to finish them in class. This hands-on experience gives us a deeper appreciation for what our students will be learning and creating this year. It was fun, engaging, and a wonderful way to connect with the curriculum and making me want to take a ceramics class. Thank you again to everyone who made the night a success. Does anybody want else? Open school night? English 12 honors, also Miss Ina Telly. So she says, I know I spoke about this over the summer, but felt we needed to revisit. I spoke to many parents at open school night, and most of them were not aware that English 12 honors offered 6 college credits. Rename the class, so it reflects that it is now a college level course. I know we discussed this over the summer, but I felt it was important to revisit. During open school night, I spoke with many parents, and a surprising number were unaware that English 12 honored offered the 6 college credits. It seems like a missed opportunity to highlight the value of the course and better inform families. Given that this is now a college level offering, I strongly believe the district should consider renaming the class to reflect it's a college course with credit potential, a title like College English 12. Marisol can speak more about suggestions. So she says this because I did say to her, my daughter took a college Spanish class and it was called College Spanish. So there was no misconception. You knew it was a college course. You knew you were getting college credits. So Ms. Poppy, I don't know if we can look into perhaps naming that English 12 college or English college 12, I don't know. Renaming the course in some sort.
We certainly can.
All right. EMT firefighter elective, Ms. DiLorenzo.
Yeah, and we have a lot of, different courses through BOCES or anything. Do we have anything, EMT firefighter, if we don't, can we get something like that? I know the fire department is always looking for people, for help, volunteers, whatever it might be, something to, teach our students about this. What do we have available for them here? And if we don't have anything, or if what we have is not sufficient, can we enhance it? Can we do anything for it? What do we have?
So thank you for bringing this up. We do offer an emergency medicine elective through our science department, but I double checked in anticipation of this particular topic, and the students don't accrue enough seat hours or seat time in that course to pursue a cert for EMT. So it may put them on a trajectory toward pursuing that independently, but the course can't guarantee that. But we do offer that option, and perhaps it inspires some students to kind of continue in that pathway.
Is there any way to, like for a school district to do that, where they can offer it so that they can take it to that next step?
It's something we can certainly look at and look into as we're developing our course offerings for 26-27.
Perfect, thank you.
I wonder with that, because is that pretty restricted to like EMT? So because I know that firefighter was mentioned, I wonder if there's a way to kind of almost like a first responders in general, and I know our police department's they're wonderful. They'll come in, they'll talk, you know what I mean? So I don't know if we can hone in on it, make it something that we can get to that point, and also expand it a little bit in what's involved within. It sounds like it could be a really cool option.
We can absolutely explore any and all of those types of opportunities.
Community Wellness Day, Ms. DiLorenzo.
Oh, one of my favorite things to do, Community Wellness Day, and thank you, Dr. C, for, bringing that up and passing the mic down here. It is, once again, we had an incredible event. It was our third one. It was done many, many years ago under Gail Santo. It was done back then, but then, of course, it stopped like everything. COVID never happened again. But it came back. It came back 3 years ago. We had over 400 people, over 500 people last year. This year, over 700 people attended Community Wellness Day, where we had close to 50 vendors. Melissa was one of our vendors, so thank you for being there. Marisol attended too. Thank you to everybody that attended. And it was something. We had food vendors in the cafe area. We had the vendors outside, the massage vendors actually brought their tables. I wish I could have sat there, but I did not have a second to breathe. But it was incredible because they did bring, okay? She was like, I did. Oh, you did. I did not get that opportunity, but and they offered, and I said, I just can't. I don't have time. But it was really something to see everybody come together. And, that's one of my, while I love, of course, because that's our library, that's my library. I love seeing people there. But one of the biggest things I love about it is seeing people happy. Because for me, mental health, yes, it's so important. But, sitting with a therapist isn't always what somebody wants. It isn't always what's going to work for them. Everybody's individual, so their needs are individual. What's going to help them maybe joining the sports team is what's going to work. And that's why I love not only do we have the mental health, but then we have the sports, Connecticut United Soccer, Connecticut Little League, we have the Boy Scouts, Dragon Gate, Give You All Sports, and plus all the mental health we had there, and the community groups, Connecticut Cares. And it really is, it's wonderful to see everybody come together and everybody's happy. The raffles were something everybody loved. It. Like 30 raffles went out, and it was such a great effort by the committee that we have, led by Dr. Pisani. We have a committee of some of our staff. Parent is on there, and the kids that help out too, our civics kids. What a huge help these kids are. They're so respectful. They're great. We had our Thunderbird there. I'm going to say Thunderbird. Yes, we had running around. It was really wonderful to see everybody there together, enjoying themselves. And thank you to the library for hosting this. Thank you to our vendors. And we look to hopefully we'll just keep it going and keep it growing.
So I'm just going to piggyback off of you. It was my first time that I was able to go to the wellness event. It was the first time I was on Long Island, not out of state, at a soccer meet. It was amazing. It was truly amazing to see how many people were there. I did get a massage. It was glorious. It was glorious. It was so good. I like the way everything is set up by all the different things are together. So you have the sports, you have the mental health, you have the food section, you had, the therapy sessions. I like that they were organized in that fashion. It was just an amazing event. I loved talking to everybody. I loved going to all the tables. I even won a prize. It was amazing. I did. So thank you. Thank you for all your hard work. It was great. Dr. Pisani, too. So we have the low-income senior tax break. Ms. DiLorenzo.
Okay, yes, as we heard the gentleman before, who's been such a strong and really a great advocate for this, and he was fantastic at our civics meeting, telling us all about, giving us an update on this. So I would like, again, I know we brought this up, I don't know if it was the last meeting or the one before, another update perhaps on where we're at with that, because I do want to see us giving these seniors their tax break. I want to see it happen, for me, as soon as we can. So have we spoken to the town, like where are we at in this process?
Yes, so we've communicated again with Ms. Dan Zeiger, the Town of Islip assessor, for updated information in order for us to present to the board and to the community to make a decision on possibly raising the income limits. hopefully we'll get that information soon. I know I spoke with Dr. Centimore, and the goal is to try to have that information available for the November board meeting, but I will stay in contact with Ms. Stanziger to get that information quickly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Hauser, what is the deadline? Like, when do we have to vote by or let them know by?
I believe it's March 1st.
Perfect, thank you. All right, I added board retreat to our board discussion. So we met as a board for our retreat last week. Why does it feel so long ago? Last week, I personally thought we got a lot out of it. We were very honest with each other. We were very forthcoming. We got a lot out, I believe. We actually have part 2 coming up in another 2 weeks. So we are building off of that retreat, and personally, I think that it was successful, and there was only one black eye. And it was Dr. Centimore's. So I thought it was a great retreat. I thought it was fulfilling, in my opinion. Does anybody have any other?
Yeah, I have a question. I had asked about that, the policy, and to revisit a policy about people volunteering for sports and things of that nature. And I don't know what that really means, revisiting a policy. So what do I have to do to revisit that policy?
So Ms. Keller is pulling that policy, and when the policy committee meets, they're going to revisit that policy and see about the wording, and then they'll bring it back to the board.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Keller has the policy number, so she knows which one to pull. Yep. Mr. Grosso?
I'm going to be robust and succinct, if you will. And I spoke with Jackie before I went ahead and I'm saying this. I did, that was the last actual board meeting, right? It does feel long ago, right? So last board meeting, I used a figure of speech in the worst possible time, thought about it immediately after, and I apologized to Jackie in the moment. I'll take the opportunity to publicly apologize for poor choice of wording and anybody else that might have been offended by it. In the moment, I immediately was like, oh my God, I didn't mean it like that. I'm so sorry. So I did want to make it very well known, though, before I am saying this, I checked with Jackie first. This is not about me. I just taking accountability. Poor choice in words is what it was. There was no ill will meant. I would never do something like that. So Jackie was very gracious in the moment. Was like, relax, it's okay, because I was sweating. So I just wanted to make that public.
Thank you, Melissa. I absolutely appreciate that. And I do believe, like I said to you at that moment, I said that there was nothing meant in that. And I knew that. I can tell, I could just tell there was nothing, figure of speech. We all say things, and I knew that right off the bat. And, I appreciate, what you said afterwards and what you're saying now. And I definitely, thank you. But I know you meant nothing at all by it. So definitely, I appreciate that.
Dr. Centimore?
So I'll just follow up on some of the high school events, just so the community is aware. So I had mentioned earlier that Friday, October 17th is homecoming. So the parade, which takes place in the local neighborhood around the high school, starts at 4. The football game starts at 6. And student government is coordinating Grucci fireworks for after the game. So October 17th. Obviously, we love to see if any of our alumni, especially our current students that are away at college, that they can come and make it as well. And we appreciate student government for all their efforts. And I had mentioned earlier, Safe Halloween, another great event, annual event, a Hallmark event. Saturday, October 25th. It starts 12 noon. It goes 12 noon to 2 o'clock at the high school. Our high school students do a wonderful job providing a safe and fun experience for the young ones and families. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any board discussion items? Did you guys want to speak again? Okay. I will now open the floor for the second open public comment portion of the agenda. I will call individuals forward one at a time. Please wait for my acknowledgement before stepping up to the podium. You should have received a number card from security on your way in. If you have not, please see a security guard in the back of the room. Any person wishing to address the board shall address the board president. Comments should be kept as brief as possible and relate to school matters only. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for one or more topics. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. The use of foul language and threatening comments will not be tolerated, and the board will consider a recess until order is restored. In accordance with Policy 1230, public comment will not exceed 30 minutes. If there are additional persons wishing to speak, the board may consider a motion to extend the time. Number 1.
I'm just going to finish where I ended. So did you guys know that there are emails? Marisol, I know you do know. There are emails from 3/10/2023 all the way for that month. You should really go back and read them. Requesting that from thou shall not be named, requesting leaves of absences. There are other people at the same exact time that took leaves as well, and that's why I was contacted by administrators who felt that it is not fair. I was also contacted by other staff, teachers, and other units who all said, Jackie, you're one of the few people who come up and actually tell it like it is, which I will, because I lived through it. You guys are gifting public funds of upwards of $20,000 in the form of days already taken. They were not forced, they were taken. You're setting a dangerous precedent and example of pure stupidity and corruption. Are you all up there to help your buddies, or do you actually believe kids first? When will you actually do something, anything, to move education forward? All over social media, rankings are tanking at Connecticut, and your go-to is no goals, no vision statement, no new vision, no goals committee, which all of this should already have been done, and just giving handouts to friends and making more corrupt backdoor deals, trying to change what other supers and boards did. You can disagree with me, but I state the facts, and the facts are in the emails. None of you follow facts. You are strictly doing things that can get you all in the media, and not in a good way. Is there a reason you are all pushing off FOILs? If an attorney must get involved, the district will be paying that bill, since FOILs should not take over 30 days. Legal would be billed to the district in that situation, especially one that was already redacted by school legal counsel and given to other community members already, yet being withheld because the request is for a specific settlement agreement. This was already posted on social media. Before, the next thing you do is go back and try to change that finding as well, causing even more lawsuits because there are parents already looking to sue the district. Last, you need to remind all staff, not be afraid of who's going to come in and give you guys crap. You really need to remind all staff that while freedom of speech on social media platforms is not freedom of consequences. Most of us on our jobs understand this. Any staff that post hate causing more hostility can lead to an unsafe environment for students and other staff. This Board of Ed needs to familiarize themselves with why mass shootings happen at schools and other locations. Thank God for Don, Adam, and the amazing security team, because they are second to none, but I see firsthand on my job that security can't fully do their job unless you all share information that they may not have. See something, say something, just a reminder. Remember, students are held to a higher standard through code of conduct. You should be holding staff to the same code of conduct, especially since I witnessed firsthand students get suspended for things they posted on social media while at home. Connecticut needs to hold adults to the higher standard and lead by example as well on social media. Please go back and look at that policy. You may want to add that so that it's level, not lopsided. Students and staff should all be held to that. As a matter of fact, adults should be held to a higher standard because they know better, or they should.
Thank you. Number 2. Okay. Can I have a motion and a second and a second to enter into executive session for the purpose of meeting with the board's attorney.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We will not be coming out just to adjourn. Have a good night.